Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's time for me to begin this portion of the program. Most of you should know me, as we haven't had a lot of new hires in recent months. My name is Carlos Turner Cortez, the president of the San Diego College of Continuing Education. It is my sincere honor and pleasure to be present with you today at our faculty appreciation event. This is our annual event where we recognize and celebrate the heart of our organization. You know, my perspective, faculty are like the chefs of a restaurant. It's the most important personnel in the organization because they are the ones that produce the product. And in our case, that product is teaching and learning. I want to thank all of you for your contributions to our organization, but particularly over the past year. The good news, it looks as though there is light on the horizon, and we are going to be moving out of our shutdown over the next 3 semesters. I would expect, pending any new threats from this pandemic or others, that we should be back up in operating order, returning to somewhat semi-normal operations. And I want to especially thank the leadership of our instructional unit, the wonderful deans who oversee instructional programs, along with the deans who oversee student services programs, and in most cases counselors are the backbone of our organization. If you are the critical lungs, they are your backbone, and you both work in tandem with one another to produce the magic of our organization. I also want to thank our outstanding vice presidents, Vice President Subanos, Administrative Services, Student Services, Dr. Star Rivera-Lacey, and Instructional Services, and one of the main event organizers today, Dr. Michelle Fishdahl. Also special recognition for our fabulous foundation, Dr. Lori Koski and her team certainly bring much value to the work that we do. This is a awkward way to celebrate you, our faculty, but I'm happy that we chose to do so, albeit not in direct contact with one another in person. But I'm pleased to be here. I want to thank everyone again who made this event possible, especially the classified professionals who are always working behind the scenes without much recognition for their contribution. So without further haste, it's time for me to bring forward your fantastic academic Senate President, John Broma, who's done an outstanding job, particularly during this awkward period. I think it's really been important to have somebody with John's counseling background to help lead the faculty during what could have been even a more turbulent transitional period during the pandemic. President Broma.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm so happy that we're doing this today. You know, it goes without mentioning how difficult this year has been and how we will be telling our grandkids about this someday. You know, everyone here does fantastic work, and I just wanted to say one little thing today, and that is, outside of this institution, think of your contributions. Think of what you have done, and with your teaching and instruction and counseling, you restored some measure of normalcy to many, many, many of our students. So that's something to hold on and remember as Carlos said, as we are looking at a new horizon and we're going to be moving out of this. Remember the great work that you did, not just for the institution, but for everybody in your community. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Carlos. Welcome, everyone. It really is so wonderful to see you all here today. We're virtual, but we are here together. And so today is about celebrating you, because you are all out of this world. What you have and continue to accomplish has just been extraordinary. And I knew back in March of 2020, when so many of you stepped forward to help one another move to remote instruction, that we would ultimately be okay and be able to serve our students because of you, because of your dedication, your commitment, your care for one another, and especially for our students. And you all have so many different roles in your lives beyond teachers, your parents and spouses and children of elder parents and so much more, yet you have taught and taught well. And, you know, as John said, your students appreciate you and all of us appreciate you. And I and our whole team just hope you feel that from us today. So I'm going to get us started with some stories of extraordinariness and appreciation. And it's a story some of you may have heard before, but it's really worth repeating. When Chancellor Carroll sent out her first COVID email, I immediately reached out to your distance ed faculty leaders. And I asked who would be willing to help move remote. And I had no details. It was just an email of who's willing to help. And within 30 minutes, everyone responded yes. And within days, there was a plan. And that support plan ended up developing into our DE faculty mentoring program, which is led by your colleague, Dr. Ingrid Greenberg. And I just so appreciate our collaboration and your dedication to helping one another. So thank you so much. There are so many more stories to come. But first, we started a tradition a couple of years ago where we highlight one program and their students. And I'm sure none of you can forget our culinary students and our culinary program. This year, it is the Digital Media and Programming program. And I understand your colleague, Paul Richards, was very excited about putting together this video and composing the music to highlight his students' work. So you will see things like photo restoration, print media, logo development, website redesign, and so much more. So with that, let's take a listen.
There's no audio.
Thank you so much, Paul. I hope you're here. I don't see you on my screen, but I'm sure you're here. Big round of virtual applause for Paul. Paul is as a former music student. I know that composing music, especially to something, takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort. And I thank you for presenting your students' work so well. I love seeing all of the images that I remember sitting in capstone projects when I was dean of the program as well, and just fine work. Thank you so much for sharing. Next, we're going to do something that we also do every year, and that is to talk about our recent graduates of the Passport to Success program. And Rome is going to get us started.
Teacher who takes the time to listen will produce students who are willing to learn. Education's not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. And the teacher is the one who kindles that light in the world and walks through the dark paths in the world, being that light. This quote from Felix Alder reminded me of Michelle Pfeiffer in Desperate Minds, where her students give her candy and call her the light so that she'll continue to stay at the school that they so love her. And it's an inner city school. And I think of our Passport people. This is our 5th year for Passport to Success. We have over 100 graduates, many of whom are program chairs, committee chairs, and Senate officers. And in our convocation this year, we learned about the power of example and the importance of mentorship. A good mentor-mentee relationship's based on what you learn from each other, as well as what the experience meant to both. We aren't meant to be alone. Everybody needs relationships and the desire to be part of something much bigger. This year's graduating class of Passport not only mentored their students, but they also mentored each other. Their friendships encouraged and supported one another and provided that essential connection needed for success. I would like to thank Carlos Turner-Cortez for his vision, and especially Michelle Fishstall for her support. And now I'd like to turn the next section over to my ally and my favorite online instructor, Rachel Rose, to talk about the different programs we did and the graduates.
Hi, everyone. First, I wanted to start with thanking all of our graduates from the past years who have turned out to be the leaders that we had hoped and have really exceeded, gone out of this world for what they have done for the institution, and as well as our mentors that we've had in the past that we typically would during this period of time thank, and that they have continued to mentor despite the change in avenues. So I just want to say thank you for that. About our graduates, we get to participate monthly with the graduates that are on the screen, and I wanted to thank all of them. I want to appreciate the connections that we have made during this period of time. We've had synchronous meetings and we've had time on Canvas together, and both of those times have been very rich. I want to thank you for your openness in sharing yourselves with us and being open to the material. I want to thank you for your willingness to collaborate across departments and really being willing to make those connections and bonds that I hope will last for your lifetime here at SDCCE. I want to thank you for creating richness by participating in all of my silly interactive games and calling on you as I do other people and having you just embrace that. And I want to thank you for that participation. I want to thank you for asking questions, for not being afraid or unwilling to figure things out. And to question what is offered to you and how to make things better. I really appreciate that. I want to thank you for reviewing the module material and that I give you in your very busy time that is on Canvas about all of the information about our institution and how things can help you. And most of all, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of Roma and our hearts for being you, for being that unique individual that brings your own self to the table, that makes our teaching and our institution so special for our students, because without your unique attitude and vision and self in each of those classes, then I don't think that students would have the same experience. So we spend a lot of time teaching and providing you information, but I wanted to say from us that we are thrilled to have learned from you every day, that we have the privilege of being with you. And with that said, I would love to turn us over to Lori Cozzolino, who is our professional development coordinator, who we work within her department. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So the core mission of Passport to Success is and always has been to bring SDCCE faculty and now also classified staff together to build teaching and learning skills, institutional knowledge, technology skills, and maybe most significantly, communication and connection skills as we seek to better serve each other and our student communities. And I first also want to acknowledge Carlos again for providing the original momentum for getting this project started 5 years ago, and Michelle for supporting it over time and into the future. But most credit goes to my fellow faculty, colleagues, Rachel and Roma, for always adapting to new environments, providing new and innovative ways to engage and support new and current faculty and staff. For example, building in the new mentoring component, which we know is a best practice for sharing knowledge, skills, and support, especially for newer hires, but also for folks who've been around for a while. I have had a mentor, Rachel's my mentor, and I have mentored. I'll say that again. Rachel's been my mentor, and I've also mentored other faculty. And I also really want to acknowledge all of the faculty and staff who have participated in Passport to Success over the past 5 years. And I look forward to continuing to support this work as we navigate the future at SDCCE, because we are all in this together. And it's been my pleasure to work with all of you, with Rachel and with everybody. Thank you, I'm done. And I'm not sure who's next, I'm sorry.
I'm coming back in. Congratulations, graduates. I too want to take a moment to appreciate Roma and Rachel and Lori. For those of you who aren't aware, the Passport to Success program and the mentor program is what we modeled to create the distance ed support structure for mentor support structure. And all three of these women have been so involved in making sure that we've taken all the lessons learned and everything that's been accomplished over the past 5 years to just continue to improve support mechanisms for all faculty. And I appreciate you all for your continued commitment and growth in everything that we've asked you to do as we've created and grown this program. So thank you very much. Okay, so now you are going to hear from your deans, some amazing stories of your dedication, creativity, commitment, hard work, and so much more. And let's get started with Dean Andre Lucas.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. So I'm going to start off with my program. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andre Lucas. I'm the Dean of Automotive Skilled and Technical Trades. I'm currently at ECC right now. So it's great to be here. So my story, I have a couple stories. One's the Weldon reopening story, and then also filming. But before I get into that, when we first transitioned to the remote environment, I'll never forget this story. I was in conference room 132, and I met with my leadership team, Sam Fu, Bob Pyle, and Brad Dorschel. And we kind of, and this is when, we were learning more about COVID, and we kind of had that feeling that we were going to transition off campus. And I remember Bob asking me, well, Andre, how in the world are we going to transition our programs online? And I remember answering our faculty and my leadership team. I said, hey, we're going to film content, evolve as a program, and we're just going to ride this roller coaster out. And so in regards to the summer welding program, so when we initially started putting our plan together for the summer welding program, we didn't really, this is during the beginning of COVID. So there weren't really many guidelines in terms of reopening. We were piecing things together from, different restaurants that were reopening, stores that were reopening. We were on campus. I think you guys see the picture here to the left. You see our faculty and classified staff in full PPE. At the time, we weren't sure if this was, fully airborne virus, or if you could contract it through contact of, commonly touched surfaces, that sort of thing. But through it all, we've just had a lot of dedication from our faculty, and they've done a great job of leading a lot of these different initiatives. And as we come out of this, it's just made our program that much better. And then going into filming, I'll be honest, I'm no Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg. I took a couple classes for video. I took a couple video production classes in college, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our faculty may have done the same in the past also. But even with filming content, we were learning things every single day that we were filming. Sometimes we were filming content, then we found out when we were editing it that wasn't useful. We had to come back and refilm again. A lot of work went into that. But now, looking back on it, we've actually been able to develop a lot of OER content for our programs, and basically a database that we can actually use for our students who may want to review a certain lab once we transition back onto campus. But I just want to thank my leadership team and all of our faculty who have done an amazing job. I know we've worked cross disciplines with one another. We have welding instructors helping out automotive instructors helping out plumbing instructors in terms of filming, creating content. Also want to thank our classified staff as well. And just for having that buy-in, because initially at first, I had a lot of individuals that were contacting me worried about not being able to teach, not worried about, okay, if I can't teach, then will I lose my job? We had a lot of that. And so we've been able to make it through with the dedication of our faculty, staff, leadership team here at ECC, and with the Skilled and Technical Trades program. And I just want to thank you guys for embracing the change and evolving as a program. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited to see what we do once we return back to campus. I know we're gradually returning back to campus, but that's all I have to share. And like, as I said before, thank you all for being here today. And I will now transition over to Roberta Kraus, who is the Acting Dean of Student Equity.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today to recognize the hard work of our faculty. So for the first one, I'm going to talk about the Rising to Success pathway. These two faculty shine this year in stepping up and in to provide increased direct service and pay internship to homeless students. Many of those students have faced barriers to accept, to get to access and completion, but plus being homeless adds more to the challenge of these students. However, I wanted to thanks and give the kudos to Susana Bueno and Cindy Thompson. They have played major roles in the success of these participants and changed these students' life. Thank you so much for your hard work for the Rising to Success pathways. The next one I'm going to talk about is the CalWorks program, especially about the Toys for Tots drive that we did back this past December. Our full-time and part-time CalWorks faculty decided to distribute toys for our CalWorks students by bringing toys directly to their homes. Many CalWorks students were struggling financially. Some have lost their jobs. Many students were not able to buy gifts for their children, and some of them lost family members to COVID. The faculty team was able to distribute and serve 125 families and gift 258 children with toys and 41 teenagers with gift cards. Our CalWorks students were very thankful and moved by the toys and gift cards donation, especially during this challenging year. So kudos for our CalWorks faculty who's known for their compassion, dedication, and committed to our students throughout the year. Thank you very much. The next presenter is the Dean Michelle Gray, who's oversee business and accounting, digital media and programming, and information technology.
Thank you, Roberta. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to share some awesomeness from my team at the BIT program. I'll just call it the BIT program because that's what everyone knows it as when we've updated some of our names. So during this time, of course, there were a lot of resources available to students to help them get through this pandemic. And we really had to count on faculty to make sure that they got that to the students. And a lot of our faculty were very deliberate about making sure the students understood what resources were available. A lot of our faculty were very flexible with deadlines because they knew that the students were working with a lot going on in their lives and their homes with their technology. We had faculty who kind of switched the conversation. So generally someone comes into your class and the topic's going to be related that week to whatever your module has been, that technical conversation. And knowing how the pandemic had affected so many people, some of the faculty kind of switched things around and instead talked about what was helping them through this quarantine. And they got, you know, hiking trails and books to read and what Netflix films to binge on. And it just kind of softened the room and softened the experience and really made for a wonderful way to get through this together. A lot of accommodating of different schedules. We had some faculty who did live sessions in the morning and another set of live sessions in the evening, just to make sure that the students would be able to make it and participate. We created, well, I'll just say Tim Pollock, since you guys all know who he is, created this one-on-one tutoring session for our office skills students who were really struggling with technology and with what version of the software they had in their home. And so he pulled together and created this kind of instructional assistance that's available all week at all these different times so students could come in and get one-on-one support and help them finish and complete. Thank you for that. A lot of organizing of the e-textbooks, and I know that sounds like simple, but it wasn't. And we hadn't really worked with e-textbooks before, so we really had to think about how we were going to manage this with our students. So it was very creative in that regard. We had a faculty member who had a number of students working with the Apple computers at home, which is a completely different platform. So she really took some extra time to learn the Apple operating system so that she could assist that little group of students with their work while she was working with the others on the PC. We had a lot of engaging environments. I mean, we really, I think our biggest panic when we went into the pandemic was, how in the world are we going to create the engagement and the personality conversations and relationships that we have in the classroom? And you guys did it, and you did it well, engaging in a Zoom environment and creating the right vibe in this virtual world that led to student friendships and sharing of job opportunities and championing each other when they did their presentations. It was very cool. And some fun ways to learn in this environment. We had one of our software classes where the assignment was to collaborate on a cookbook, and it just made a fun way to learn Google. And there's a sample of, I don't know if someone in the class actually made that chocolate chip cookie dough hot fudge sundae, but if they did or didn't, it was a fun way to learn this software. And then our IT group, the A+ entry-level computer instructors had to get very creative, where they usually had students in the classroom being able to take apart a computer. So we had a faculty member who, this is the inside of your computer, if you ever wanted to know what it looked like, got a camera, videotaped it, and would have these live sessions so the students could follow him in this environment, test them, have problems, have the students all get together to come up with solutions. So I just want to say thank you to our faculty. This has been a challenge for everyone, and you guys, you're awesome. You're awesome. So let's now welcome Esther Matthew, who is the Dean of Counseling and Student Success.
Good afternoon. Reviewing this past year in preparation for today's event was an interesting exercise. It seemed that this year actually started in March of last year when we left the campuses. It has seemed that since then, this has been one long year. We have been coping with an unprecedented situation since we first began working remotely. We had to deal with a disruptive and unexpected event. It came with an element of surprise and short decision times, to say the least. In essence, we were dealing with the crisis and we quickly moved into crisis management. Crisis management involves assessing a situation, choosing appropriate responses, and implementing manageable solutions. Crisis management was done at all levels, from the chancellor and board and down through the ranks to each employee. Each council faculty member worked through and continues to work through stages of crisis management at work, all the while handling their own individual and unique circumstances. They quickly determined how to meet student needs remotely by identifying and utilizing a variety of technological tools and platforms. This process included an uncomfortable but essential evaluation of their own skills, identifying gaps, and engaging in trainings. Each counselor invested the time and energy needed to update or acquire new skills to work remotely. Counselors were able to sustain the full breadth of services online that were provided as was on campus. In addition to providing the core services, there were opportunities for new and creative approaches to working with students. Counselors went above and beyond expectations and out of this world. They updated and enhanced the CE counseling webpage. A number of them developed their own websites to highlight programs in more depth, and cooperatively developed a new approach to onboarding students with weekly education planning sessions. A counselor has even embraced Canvas to the point of taking the lead in initiating changes to the counselor role to maximize services. Basically, and in keeping with today's theme, with the Star Trek reference, they went where no continuing education counselor has gone before. Counselors push through these challenging times by being resilient, persistent, determined, open, adaptable, and creative thinkers. Each one met the challenge with success, and each one is a superstar and truly out of this world. And as if this were not enough, the department also realized that they needed a support network and began to rely on each other. They became a star cluster, a stellar assemblage that is held together by mutual gravitational pull of its members. Counselors came together to support each other, learn from each other, and inspire each other. It is with pride that we acknowledge the counselors and the department. They have been managing this novel situation with huge success. And knowing how CE Star counselors coped during this period is reassuring. As an institution, we can optimistically look forward with the knowledge that these stars will continue to shine regardless of what the future may hold. So a great debt of thank you to the entire department. Thank you. Now let's welcome Jan Jarrell, Dean of ESL and Citizenship Program.
Thank you, Esther. So when I got this assignment, I thought to myself, how can I tell the story of over 100 ESL faculty and what they've accomplished over this last year? Well, this lover of words decided that the only way to tell this story was through numbers, because behind each number are amazing humans Humans who care deeply about their students, who have shown up for their students, even as they have endured their own struggles. Here are some of the numbers and stories, and I hope you all recognize yourselves. We have served thousands of students in ESL, 6,000 enrollments, more than 6,000 this semester alone. And with all of those students, and I'm thinking particularly of you beginning level instructors, this means thousands of emails, phone calls, text messages, finding any way they could to connect with students in this new world. Before we had a CE distance ed mentorship team, we had a team of a dozen ESL volunteer mentors, and they have docked 550 or more hours, and we're still counting. Last March, we couldn't imagine how CASAS testing would work. And yet now we have tested over 447 students. To respond to this pandemic and new world, faculty created and posted 98 videos and counting. And by the way, our most popular video, you see the picture here, is from the Study Online series, Where is My English Class?, which has over 4,700 views so far. 56 ESL instructors became certified, most of whom had never considered teaching online. Recently, a reporter asked where our citizenship students come from. In this semester alone, there are students from 34 different countries. Imagine for a moment what it is like to be teaching students who want to become US citizens during a pandemic in a time of political and social upheaval. The English language civics team responded. They created 11 modules that can be uploaded into Canvas. The vessel leads completed 10 new course outlines and 5 new programs. 2 of these programs will be part of ICOM in the fall. They created 6 publications, 2 dialogue newsletters, 2 completely revised ESL student guides, and for the first time, a journal of student writing called On Our Way, which has work by students from level 1 through level 7. And I am so excited about this launch coming soon. In addition, the faculty created 4 new course topics for existing courses: Vessel for Career Pathways, Vessel for Healthcare Careers, Conversation for Job Interviews, and Online Learning Skills. They also developed 4 new work groups: beginning meetups, intermediate level meetups, and advanced level meetups, all to meet the challenge of online learning so that faculty could share together. Also created this year was a social justice work group, which came about because of a question posed at a Flex session in the fall by Adjunct Elizabeth Osborne. How are we going to help our students, especially beginning level students, understand what the issues are and connect with what's going on in our society? And so this work group was born and is now sharing resources and developing materials for all ESL faculty. I would just like to say that we have one amazing, yes, stellar leadership team. Thank you, Corinne, Magdalena, Steve, Michelle, Monica, Stephanie, Brian, Carolyn, Lydia, Maria, Alyssa, and yes, Jim Bryce, who retired, but he was there during the transition. Your support to me and all faculty has been amazing. You are sounding boards, problem solvers, and reality checkers. And to all the ESL faculty here and those who are not here, who are probably on Zoom sessions right now, let me add some adjectives to all these numbers. You're the most dedicated, creative, generous, and courageous group of people that I've ever had the honor to work with. I'd like to end with a quotation by Adjunct Cassandra Hurd, who I kind of consider as my reporter on the ground, on the front lines. And what she wrote recently was, although I entered the COVID online world crying and terrified, I'm now hooked. It's amazing. I had always thought of it as a cold space, and instead it's grown into a caring community of fun, interesting people. And I would just like to say that thank you all, ESL faculty, for making this community fun and interesting and oh so meaningful. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Dean of Healthcare, Careers, and Community Education, Cassandra Story.
Hello, faculty, all faculty today. When I had to put this slide together, I really thought about, a couple of the things that the faculty in healthcare have really done. And they had to reimagine our lab settings. We all had to be flexible. We all had to really find a way to support our students, and teamwork makes the dream work. So I want to talk a little bit about all of those. Healthcare faculty have really been hard at work over the last year in countless ways to support students. When continuing education and also our clinical sites shut down in March of 2020, we knew that we had to find a way to complete our students and get them into the healthcare workforce, which really needed them at that time. So faculty quickly got to work and sharing ideas of how we could reconstruct our labs and the science really around mitigating COVID. It was clear that our current lab space was too small, so we did convert our multi-purpose room downstairs into a giant lab space, enough for spacing and social distancing for all students. But in order to do this, we realized that the key was accepting that we all had to be flexible in our work. And healthcare faculty were more than flexible. They had to overhaul class structure, build Canvas shells, bridge the gap between our students and technology, and in general, be patient with the process and with themselves. I should mention this is a faculty that we had not taught online up until COVID hit. So they really embraced it. But I'm proud to say that as of September, our students have been able to access campus twice a week regularly to gain hands-on experience in our simulation labs. And we've been graduating them with their CNA licenses, allowing them to work in this field. I have to give a big thanks to Kenny Parker and Sandra Layden, who really volunteered to cover the in-person clinicals and getting our students with their skills, and Kathy Campbell for covering our HHA course in person. They were instrumental in ensuring students gain those skills in order to enter the workforce. I also need to acknowledge our program chair and clinical director, Lisa Cork. Lisa, out of everybody, has been the most flexible in dealing with an ever-changing situation that does change daily. She's worked tirelessly in helping establish protocols for getting students back to campus, and often really playing ping pong between our school system and the California Department of Public Health, who we also work with. But by working together, we have found a way to graduate students, keeping learning on track. Our team has also given countless hours, not just here at work, but volunteering at hospitals and in clinics, and first at testing sites and now at vaccination sites, making sure our community is really being taken care of. They may have been on the front lines when you went to go get your vaccine. And our adjuncts are working long hours and really are on the front line. And they still feel time to support our students with their dreams. So when I thought about this, I thought, there's no better way to sum all of this up than to take a quote from a student. And this student just recently put this on our Facebook page, and I wanted to read it to everybody. She says, "I moved back home to Maine and continued my nursing journey a couple of years ago. I'm almost halfway done with an ADN program. It's not a requirement here to have a CNA license, but I am so thankful for the experiences and learning what I did for that certification. I now understand why it actually is a requirement in California. So I just want to stop by and give a shout out and thank you to my teachers and classmates for such a great learning experience. I can't even begin to tell you how lost I would be in nursing school now without that program. Because of Kenneth Parker, Vicki Taylor, and Carrie Lewis, I'm confident that I have the skill set necessary to be a confident and compassionate RN come June 2022. Especially Vicki, she made me feel okay about speaking up when I saw something wrong happening at a clinical site, and it was empowering and humbling at the same time. I will always remember that lesson and day in my practice. So thank you for teaching and refueling my love of learning, and thank you for continuing to do so for others. So I read that to you because her time with us was in spring of 2018. But a year later, she came to post that on our Facebook page, and the lessons that our faculty taught her are still living with her today. As a dean, I could not be more proud of the faculty and the work they've done and continue to do for our department, our students, and the community as a whole. So I just say thank you to our whole team. So now I'm going to turn it over, and it's my pleasure to introduce Katie Serbian, Acting Dean of DSPS and Student Affairs.
Thank you. Thank you. This last year, the faculty of the DSPS department have gone above and beyond to serve our students amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. In the blink of an eye, our instructional faculty members transformed our DSPS courses. These educational assistance classes, by design, are intended to provide learning experiences for students that need more direct support. And the dedication and motivation of the DSPS faculty turned these traditionally on-campus classes into meaningful online learning communities, where not only could students learn new skills, but stay connected with one another throughout one of the most isolating events in our history. Our student services team, the DSPS counselors, remained vigilant, creating live Zoom info sessions and professional development opportunities, as well as creating and maintaining a course enrollment plan in collaboration with both instructors and classified professionals, all while supporting CTE, high school diploma, and equivalency students through the provision of online academic accommodations and resource support. One particularly impactful collaboration was our DSPS laptop distribution. Our department was able to procure 30 laptops and Chromebooks for DSPS students who wouldn't otherwise be able to attend class without very specialized support. Kathy Hornick, our assistive technology specialist, took the reins and configured every single laptop with the software and accessibility measures for each individual student. She created a visual guide for students to be able to use their computers and coordinated with our counseling team several laptop distributions to get this technology into the hands of our students. This team effort led by Kathy kept our students in our classes, and it kept our faculty teaching. I have been very honored to lead this team of incredible and devoted individuals over this last year, and cannot say enough about how truly exceptional the DSPS faculty are at working together to serve our students. So I thank you endlessly, the DSPS department, for your dedication to our students and to one another. Now I will turn it over to Dean Lori Crosby Howell, who oversees the high school diploma and equivalency, hospitality and culinary programs, as well as clothing and textile arts.
Thank you, Katie. So this has been an amazing year for lots of different reasons. And while I was sitting here listening to all the amazing things that the faculty have done in the College of Continuing Education, I realized that I hadn't really given myself time to celebrate that we've been in crisis mode for a year. And so I'm not going to cry, because I tell people at work there is no crying at work. But what you'll see before you is just an example of some of the amazing work that has taken place in our departments. So Tammy is representative of the faculty of the clothing and textile arts. So she created, as you can see, 388 YouTube videos to teach 3 different classes. This is about 350 hours of work, different numbers of takes, she says, and editing and time to upload them. And we've heard from students how beneficial this opportunity was for them. And Tammy is representative of the entire department. They also created giveaways where students they organized packs of thread and needle and fabric samples and patterns and arranged student pickups at the campus. And so while we're trudging forward with all of this hard work, I want everyone to take a moment to think about all of the hard work and all of the emotions that have went in to making it through this year, and not just making it, but excelling it and being out of this world with their creativity and their time management and their willingness to go above and beyond to help our students. And Tammy, I'm highlighting Tammy as a representative of the department, which I know we weren't supposed to do, but I'm a rebel and a rule breaker, and I'm old, is that she also suffered from COVID. And even though she was very sick for a long time, she still kept working, kept creating, and kept helping her students. So I salute Tammy and the entire department with the leadership of Shirley Pearson, our amazing program chair, as we step into the future with all of these lessons learned, and a great appreciation from the bottom of my heart. The culinary faculty, led by program chair Megan Leopard and Lee Blackmore, also went above and beyond. You may not know that we provide all of the food products for our students in our culinary courses. So what happens when we go online? And so all of you who work in CTE programs can greatly appreciate what that transition took, right, to make it successful. Well, Lee and Megan and the rest of the culinary team each week receive food drop-offs from US Foods, bulk foods. What you see in front of you is just a small portion of what they have to do every week by compiling the boxes in the back and the boxes and the bags for students. And then they come by between a certain time period. And oftentimes the students want to talk, they recognize their instructor. But what just strikes me with all of the faculty is the heart that they put in it, and the care that they put in it, and the time that they put in it. And even when I think some of my requests may be a bit unreasonable, they all work so hard to achieve them. So I want to honor all of the chefs for all of their hard work, for all of the filming that you've done, for all of the food baskets that for all the fighting that you've done on behalf of your students to make sure that their experience online is as close as possible to their in-person experience. I also want to honor the faculty and their support of our high school equivalency program, especially for our GED students, and how they worked really hard to select books and materials that we could make available to our students, and also organize pack-ups and giveaways so students had access to the best hard instructional material that would be combined with their online. Fernando Quispes, Maria Reza Brunhes, Laura Flores de Gaitan, and Thelma Lopez, and the rest of the team for all of their hard work and dedication to the students of SDCCE. I thank you. I am blessed to work with such an amazing group of faculty who are not only supportive of each other, but they're supportive of me too. A dean is only as good as the faculty that they have. And the teamwork that these folks have done on their own, the leadership, the caring, the compassion that they've demonstrated, and their willingness to make such distinct and deep self-sacrifice has touched my heart. And so I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for all of your hard work and dedication to our students. Thank you very much. And now, I'm sorry, I got caught up in myself for a moment. I'd like to introduce the Acting Dean of Parenting, Child Development, and Emeritus, Linda Osborne.
Hello, everyone. When I sat down to write these words, I thought, oh my gosh, 3 minutes to talk about child development and emeritus faculty? What's up with that? I need 3 days. No, 3 weeks, 3 years. No, not really. We'd all have radical Zoom fatigue. In all seriousness, though, when I started putting words to this presentation, the thing that came to my mind instantly was the wonderful quote that we heard at our spring institutional meeting by our awesome keynote speaker, Rodney Walker. Students don't care what you know until they know that you care. The emeritus and child development faculty are in the business of caring. Since the pandemic began, children, families, and seniors have been sequestered at home, creating untold ongoing hardship and stress. Our students in both programs became very needy while experiencing this new vulnerability brought on by the pandemic. Being able to attend our classes, these same students found hope and a sliver of normalcy. even in our challenging virtual format. Everyone before me has named the reasons why our faculty are out of this world. Everything that's been said about the wonderful gifts of our faculty definitely pertain to the faculty in child development and the emeritus program. They were quick to transition to online instruction. They learned new technology. They pulled a rabbit out of a hat every single day. They provided consistent, high quality instruction in a way that our students could have ongoing access while feeling supported and cared for. It's phenomenal. They showed up and they were present while they were navigating their own personal commitments and health and safety concerns and dealing with the world all around us. All of this happened with their huge dedication, caring, and personal sacrifices. These are the values. These are the actions that are helping to make the world a better place. It's huge. Our faculty have gone so above and beyond fostering a community learning environment built around care. To quote a current student, "My teacher is so helpful in so many ways. She gave me the confidence that I have now because she teaches me that nothing is impossible. The support I needed was there, especially when I was going through a hard time." I'm so honored to work with this incredible group of teachers. They're scholars, they're rock stars, they're brilliant people. I don't even have words enough to describe their level of greatness. They're a group of stellar educators making a positive difference, one student's life at a time. Go us. Now I'd like to turn it over to Vice President Michelle Fishdahl.
Wow. I don't know about you, but I need a moment to take a little breath. We have just heard about incredible dedication, passion, and compassion, brilliancy, resiliency, hard work, flexibility, patience, generosity, collaboration, creativity, innovation, new ways to engage students, and an absolute care for our students, their well-being, and their success. And as Dean Laurie said, this is a time to reflect, to celebrate, to recognize all you have accomplished, but most importantly, the impact you have all individually had on so many lives. Thank you so much. Just extraordinary. Thank you so much. I do want to make sure I thank the Appreciation Committee members, Dean Andre, Dean Michelle, Ginger, along with all of the supporting staff, Tim and Masha and Lisa and Brad. Thank you so much for helping us appreciate all of our faculty. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for the amazing stories that were shared about your colleagues. Thank you for your awesomeness, and please know you are all out of this world, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we hope we can do this in person next year and to see you all soon.